We are here today as teachers from all different areas to share our ideas in order to come up with a new education curriculum that incorporates the diverse population of all students.
So from my perspective, we need to not only be focusing on the content of what we're teaching, but how we're teaching these students. Creating conditions of socio-political awareness is important to finding oneself and building a sense of agency through education. To help incorporate this in my classroom, of which a majority are Latino students, we're using math problems to discuss the specific community around us to make sure we're bringing in cultural relevance. It's important to make a difference in students' lives beyond the classroom.
I also have been trying to include culturally relevant math problems in my classroom. Unfortunately, I feel that teachers may just assume that EL students would be able to learn math the same way as native English speakers because they believe it's universally understood with just numbers and symbols, without going the extra step to see if EL students truly understand. Language is tied so much to identity in one's culture that we can fail to recognize that by ignoring the language of a student, we're essentially stripping them of their identity.
I totally agree with that. It's so important for us to remember that language is a symbol of one's identity, and our ethnic identity is who each person is individually. But I feel like we can even dig deeper into that by changing language policy in schools so that it's a language's right orientation. The diversity in this country is one of the greatest things about it, but a lot of time we think that ethnic identity is just about sameness. But in fact, it can also be about embracing otherness. We don't just speak language or express ethnic identity, we are languaging and ethnifying to express our ideologies and beliefs. So we need to be doing everything in our power as teachers to make sure that we're changing it in a way that reflects this if we are to create an education system where identities do in fact matter.
I do think that language ties into one's identities and can shape how they are perceived by others. But unfortunately, there's a prevalent ideology where one's ability to speak English proficiently equates with intelligence and capability, and this is why we all need well-implemented education programs. For example, with the Navajo children I work with, being Navajo is linked with backwardness, and privileged English is associated with modernity and opportunity, so they feel they can only identify with one. In our curriculum, we need to create a safe space for all students, regardless of the culture they come from or the language they speak.
And Skyping in from New York, we have Ms. Goodwin here to also give us her feedback.
Hello everyone, it is an honor to be involved. That being said, curriculum does have the power to really shape core perceptions of self and others. While as a reflection of the culture and power of it, many students who are labeled as minorities often recognize their exclusion from the curriculum. Over time, curriculum has been used as a colonizer of groups, and so the identity of students are then questioned. I propose we do some self-reflection before attempting this.